Editing truly determines everything about how long your important videos finally perform, so you absolutely cannot just guess and hope for the best results. Even if a raw live stream or podcast sounds phenomenal live, slapping it online without a thoughtful edit will cause your audience retention to completely tank. Today, I want to walk you through a simple and repeatable way to treat all your long-form content so you can reliably turn it into scroll-stopping short videos every time. I'll also point out the most common mistakes people are making right now, why traditional editing tools sometimes fall incredibly short, and why a dedicated tool can save you hours without making your content sound robotic. If we haven't met yet, hey, I'm Alex, and I spend most of my time dedicated to repurposing long videos into those short clips that actually perform well across platforms. I work specifically with creators who want to significantly grow across TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, and every other major platform out there. Over the years, I have learned a fundamental truth. Good editing is not some kind of unpredictable magic. It is a dependable workflow. And once you manage to finally nail that specific workflow, you will absolutely stop chasing volatile algorithms and start creating content that reliably gets views. So how do you metaphorically set the gain on a long video to prepare it for short-form success? Metaphorically speaking, gain is simply how loud and visible you make those absolute best moments within your content. The very first thing you have to do is use the right technical tools to find those critical moments. You should never just eyeball the timeline and just hope for the very best. You need to solo the parts that truly matter. Isolate the biggest jokes, the most insightful hot takes, the major reveal, or that one specific bit that gets everyone talking in the comments. These peak moments are fundamentally where all audience attention lives, and your main goal is to get those moments to sit at the optimal level for short-form platforms. This means being loud enough to immediately hook viewers within the crucial first 1 to 3 seconds, yet polished enough that the final product doesn't feel like total junk. A lot of creators, unfortunately, treat every single clip the exact same way. They grab something that seemed cool during the stream and immediately throw it into an export file. That approach is certainly fine sometimes, but if you actually want consistent, reliable results, you should always aim for a specific target range. On the audio side, that might mean carefully watching your meters and making absolutely sure you have enough headroom so that nothing unexpectedly clips or distorts. On the editing side, it means making sure the very first frame immediately communicates the hook, the visual composition stays tight, and the pacing lands perfectly for your intended audience. Different source materials inherently need different handling. A talking head podcast segment might require a punchy jump cut and a headline overlay, while a live demo needs tighter framing and a quick B-roll insert to keep that momentum going. One incredibly useful rule of thumb I always teach is to intentionally leave some headroom in your edit, just like in audio. Don't push everything to the absolute maximum, hoping to sound louder than other creators, because you will inevitably sacrifice both clarity and necessary dynamics in the process. In audio, you leave 3 to 6 decibels of headroom, so those unexpected loud spikes don't actually clip the recording. In the editing narrative, you leave room in the overall arc for that climactic moment to actually breathe and have the proper impact when it finally arrives. If you compress every single peak and make every clip feel hyper-amped, then the parts that should actually pop simply won't stand out anymore. That is precisely how you end up with short clips that feel completely flat and utterly forgettable to the average viewer scrolling by. Now let's talk about 3 of the most common misconceptions I keep hearing out there in the content creation wild. Misconception number 1 is the idea, I'll just set my master export gain loud and cut clips from there later on. This entire approach is fundamentally backwards because people set their platform volume or export gain to max and then try to salvage the resulting messy clips. You should always start at the source. Find the absolute hottest moments in the long file first and build your short clip entirely around them. When you do that correctly, all of your downstream adjustments, like color grading, final captions, and the final export loudness, become significantly easier. If you let the very end of the production chain dictate the start, you will ultimately end up with either muffled clips or completely blown out audio messes. Misconception number 2 is the thought process. If the audio is too loud, I will just easily pull down the final master volume. That is true to a certain extent, but that mindset completely ignores all the necessary nuance required for great content. If you lower the entire master track just to fix one loud peak, you immediately lose all the fine control you need for proper monitor mixes or any other outputs. Instead of that, you must always fix the root problem. Trim the clip itself, punch in a specific volume envelope, or use a gentle limiter so the loud bits stay powerful without any distortion. Misconception number 3, and this one truly blows my mind, is the outdated idea that the editing tool itself somehow magically improves the content just by being used. Using a visual AI that picks moments for you doesn't automatically make the underlying content better. It just exposes the very best parts to you much faster. The real magic comes from carefully choosing the right moments and then applying excellent context, a killer attention-grabbing thumbnail, a super tight opening, and captions that match how people actually watch with the sound turned off. If the AI selects a piece of content that sounds viral but you don't frame or caption it properly, I guarantee you that clip will simply not perform well in the end. Which brings us to the topic of the actual editing tools that you might be considering for your workflow. You can certainly do all of this manually in popular software like Premiere Pro or Final Cut and be totally fine, but only if you miraculously have unlimited time and top-tier skill. For the vast majority of creators today, that highly manual process simply isn't realistic anymore. There are already lots of great apps out there, from transcript-based editors to fast mobile options, and they each have their own specific strengths. Some are great for editing based on a transcript, others are super fast for creators who are mostly mobile first, and some are convenient for just very quick cuts on the fly. However, each tool has its own distinct limits. Some can be clunky for multicam live streams, others can make all your content look a little too template-driven, and many don't help with the crucial step of final distribution or scheduling. This is precisely where a dedicated platform starts to really stand out without me trying to sound like I'm giving a sales pitch right now. This kind of solution doesn't just chop up clips, it actively scans long videos to identify moments with a high chance of going viral based on cadence, audience cues, and topic density. It then packages those identified moments into complete, ready-to-post edits, which saves you the incredibly tedious part of hunting through hours of footage yourself. The built-in scheduling feature is an absolute lifesaver because instead of exporting a folder and manually uploading everywhere, you set a cadence and the system queues it all up. Furthermore, the centralized content calendar lets you see absolutely everything in one single place. Move posts around, tweak captions, and push live without juggling 5 different dashboards. Now, I know what some of you are likely thinking, isn't that going to be expensive? Will the output sound robotic? Will it take away my creative control? Those are all very valid questions, and no, it is not the absolute cheapest tool on the block if you just compare price tags alone. And yes, full automation will never perfectly replace genuine human taste and creativity. That much is true. But the entire central point is achieving maximum workflow efficiency for your entire operation. The system handles all the boring grunt work, like finding candidates, trimming silent gaps, and doing the rough captioning so you retain control where it actually matters most. You still control which clips to push hard, the core messaging, and all of the final storytelling elements that make your content unique. Crucially, unlike some older, rigid enterprise tools, this solution doesn't force you into a single template or lock you into one specific export style. If you commit to doing this editing process right, you will avoid several practical problems that plague creators constantly. First, line checking all your assets becomes completely painless because your edit levels and hooks are standardized across everything. This consistency means you can hand off a shoot to an editor or an intern and get reliable results without endless back-and-forth revisions. Second, your entire distribution process gets predictable. Your channel won't have super quiet uploads one day and overly loud ones the very next day. Third, your special effects and dynamics behave properly because if you send a clipped, distorted audio file into a reverb plugin, the result is guaranteed trash. If you are trying this new, smarter method for the very first time, just start simple. Pick one long-form video and generate about 6 to 8 candidate clips from it. Don't post them all at once. Instead, schedule them spread out across the next couple of weeks to test the waters. Then, watch very carefully which specific clips actually land well with your audience, and most importantly, figure out exactly why they performed better. Use that performance feedback to teach the tool what your audience genuinely responds to because these tools actually learn from your data over time. Now leave me a comment right now and tell me precisely how you personally repurpose your long videos for short-form content. Are you still manually clipping everything in a complex editor, or are you using some kind of AI shortcut to speed things up? What is currently your biggest bottleneck? Is it discovering the initial hooks, writing the captions, or handling all the final distribution? If you are curious about trying a smarter workflow, I highly suggest you give a dedicated tool a spin to handle the heavy lifting, then you add your essential personality and final creative edits. It's not about replacing hard-working creators like you, it's ultimately about freeing you up to create much more content and create better content overall. If you found any of this tactical breakdown helpful today, Please subscribe for more workflows and guides on tools that actually save you real time. I keep making shorter guides and running quick tests of different tools, and I will link some relevant resources down in the description for you. Until the next time we talk content, please remember to stop posting more and simply start posting smarter. Goodbye.